All right, it is 5 days before Christmas 2021. I'm going to go on a long fast starting, I started 13 hours ago now. A little bit of a crisis. There's nothing to commemorate this time, actually, but I had a little bit of a crisis last night when I had gone to my favorite restaurant. See, during the pandemic, I made connections with a lot of people here in the local Redmond, Bellevue area. And it's really paid dividends because part of the reason I still have a couple restaurants that I can go to despite not wanting to take this pharmaceutical product, right? And people are not scared of me or anything like that is because I made these important connections. That's our real wealth, right? And I really embarrassed myself yesterday, which is why I need to go on this fast again to redouble my efforts to normalize my relationship with food. What had happened was I'm programming an AI for the game of Valley of the Kings. I was kind of showing off to one of the waiters there about my computer programming, and I was getting ready to put some of these cards into card sleeves because I wanted to demonstrate them on camera, and these cards are pretty hard to find. I don't want to bend them by shuffling them, so I was putting them into card sleeves, as you can see here. So as I was doing that, my food arrived. And I have this problem. When I get really anticipatory about eating, right, I dig right in and I lose track of things. So I lost a pack of card sleeves at the restaurant. It's still there. I gotta go pick them up now. And that's the kind of trouble I run into. And I was just talking to the waiter who was very nice to me yesterday about this is why I need to get over my compulsive eating. And he didn't realize I had a problem with that. He likes me, and I compliment him on his service, and he didn't realize that all this time I was battling this problem. And he actually felt sorry that he brought the food out when I was busy and all that. It wasn't his problem. It was completely on me. Anyway, that's the kind of trouble I run into. Food has given me all sorts of headaches like that. This is a very minor one, right? It could have been something much more important that I misplaced, which I have due to food cravings, right? I could have misplaced my cell phone. I'm waiting for an important phone call right now. Don't want to do that. I could have misplaced my computer. I could have misplaced confidential stuff at work, right? And I was just, after I got home and I was upset that I didn't have my card sleeves, I kind of reminded myself that there are people who work with dangerous stuff that they don't want to misplace, right? It could have been, some people use weapons at their job or recreationally, right? And they don't want to misplace that at a restaurant where a child could come into contact with it. I do tutoring, and sometimes I tutor chemistry, and I like to show some of my students actual experiments. I don't want to be misplacing a dangerous chemical, especially at a restaurant, right? And so I reminded myself that, if this learning experience prevents me from doing that in the future, very well worth it, right? Spend $5 on a pack of card sleeves that I ended up finding anyway, and prevent somebody from getting hurt or getting myself hurt. That's very money well spent, right? Anyway, but it reminded me of just how much strife food is still causing me, even 2 years later, right? And I'll have to think hard if I want to. I mused about this idea a couple times. I'll probably give it another thought this time around, is that I could fast myself into heaven, right? Keep fasting until I fade away and pass away. And the reason I want to do that is, number one, food has just given me so much trouble. And if there's one way to go to heaven, which we all have to go eventually, I'd rather do it in a way that relieves me of my number one drama of my life, right? And the world is just very cold, right? Right now, as I'm recording this, it's a week before Christmas. I work at a tutoring center, and everybody has left for Christmas. I'm the only one there. The kids really need me, which is fine. I don't mind working through Christmas. The problem is that the favor doesn't reciprocate when I want time off for other reasons besides Christmas, right? What do I like? I like the lunar eclipses. I like going to the Computer Olympiad. Everybody, I never get to go to those things in peace. Right? I rush home after seeing a lunar eclipse because nobody can understand why I want time off the day after the lunar eclipse. Right now the Computer Olympiad is mostly held remotely anyway, but I end up having to stay up all night working on that. I don't get time off at my workplace. People laugh at me for my dietary choices. I made the mistake of, one day I wanted to go on a fast to commemorate something, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough to eat before that, and I made the mistake of bringing my food to the tutoring center, including a bar of baking chocolate. Oh my God, some of the kids mercilessly made fun of the fact that I would eat baking chocolate, and you get the idea, right? People don't always, here in Seattle, a lot of people celebrate Christmas, obviously, but last summer, I hate to mention the holiday involved because I got a lot of flack when I did it. I went on a fast for another religious holiday for a friend of mine, and just to give her some support. It was a dry fast, which is very challenging for me. Even when I want to fast my way to heaven, I don't do it dry, right? I still consume fluids. I was kind of messed up when I was working on one of my tutoring clients, and so I lost the client. And I told him what I was doing, but I don't know if I lost him because I was messed up or if he disagreed with the religion. That's why I don't even want to mention the holiday involved. It was a couple days after September 11th, if you were curious, this year. Anyway, just a very cold world. And maybe if I go to heaven, I could pursue my hobbies, my religions, my diet choices, my sexual orientation, without so much persecution. And I love fasting anyway. Now, the other reason that I may think about having that fasting grand finale this time around is that next year is 2022, obviously. I don't tend to do very well on years that end in a 2, right? 2002 was a very challenging year for me. I dropped out of high school. I ended up taking a GED exam. 2012, I started my first job. I had a lot of trouble there running into persecution due to my sexual orientation and my hobbies there too. And I'm a little bit nervous about 2022. And if I can go to heaven and not be persecuted and not have to run into all these things, right? I'm especially nervous about taking time off to view stargazing events next year. I don't know where heaven is, right? It might not be on Earth, but I'm sure it'll have other stargazing events, right? For example, in 2084, the Earth comes into conjunction with the Sun from the perspective of Mars, right? I gotta find out where heaven is so I can look up all the stargazing events, but I'm sure I won't be persecuted for going out to see them and taking the day off the next day, right? Thanks for watching.